Hello, Squirrel Tribe. Listen, I was going to make a video with a ton of clips and links to things, but instead we're just going to have a conversation because today is Monday, November 4th. Tomorrow is Tuesday, November 5th. And tomorrow is when the United States of America will change. Whether it's for the good or for the bad, we won't know until tomorrow. I have been on social media for the last 24 hours looking at everything from the left to the right, straight down the middle, all of it, trying to really understand how this election year has gotten so out of control. And when I say out of control, I legitimately mean out of control. Every election year, it feels like you have the left and the right fighting and name calling and pointing fingers and everything else. But this year feels more volatile than previous years, even 2020, which was in and of itself a complete shit show. This feels 10 times worse. And I don't know that it's because of the people. I don't think it's because of you and I, and even a lot of the people on the left, although it has a lot to do with it. I think a lot of it has to do with the way media is pushing everything as well. The way CNN, MSNBC, ABC, NBC, even Fox News, all of it are pushing this great divide in order to really push people to go out and vote. That's what I think. I think that this is a major push to go out and vote from 18 all the way up until, Jimmy Carter, one toe in the grave kind of age, right? And it seems to be working. A lot of people went out and did early voting. Tomorrow will be the payoff for all of the push that the media has been giving. Tomorrow should be the payoff with everybody standing in line. But I was realizing earlier, when early voting happened, I was very curious what the demographics were in my county. And the reason I was very curious is because you see right now on all of the polls that are up, whether it is Rasmussen, I don't remember the name of it, I don't know how to say it. All these different polls that are up, they're showing everything basically 50-50. You'll have Trump with 49 here and Kamala 48, or then you have Kamala 49, Trump 48, and it's back and forth, and everything seems to be so incredibly close. And that to me is very, very disturbing, just based off of what you do see, even in the news, even when the news is trying to show you a Kamala Harris rally versus a Trump rally, you can clearly see the difference in the amount of people that show up, the amount of people that are supporting President Donald Trump versus Vice President Kamala Harris is significant, right? And yet you have these polls showing that they are so incredibly close that it's too early to tell who's going to win. And that feels inaccurate. So I looked at my county demographics, and there's, in my county, there's like 150,000 people, okay? And of those, it is majority, I would say close to 80% is a Republican base, right? And you've got the rest is going to be between Democrat and independent. And a lot of it where I live is predominantly white. And then you have a minimal amount of African-American, Black, and then Hispanic, and very few Asian in my area. It's not the most diverse place, even though it looks like it when you're out and about. But when it comes to voting, it's not. Not everybody is registered to vote, which I think is a huge deal. Also, this election time is that you have more people registering to vote or trying to register to vote. But even if you're not registered to vote, now that, like California and other states have made it so you don't have to prove that you are a citizen or legal in any aspect whatsoever, anybody can go out and vote. So I'm looking at the demographics and everything else, and I'm looking at the rallies, and I'm looking at the news, and I'm trying to understand how what I am visually seeing in, Republican versus Democrat or Democrat versus Republican, how it is comparing to all these polls they're putting up where they're like, well, it looks like Kamala Harris has a lead. It looks like she's got a 3-point lead here. It looks like she's turning Iowa blue, and Iowa's been predominantly red, yet they're turning blue for Kamala Harris. And I'm like, this feels wrong. It feels like we are being lied to, or I think lied to is the correct word. Misguided, misdirected on purpose. That might be a better way to put it, because there are a lot of people out there who have, I'm going to use the word victim mentality, and it sounds worse when I say it that way than the way I'm trying to convey it. But there's a lot of people out there who will see something. They'll say, oh, well, it's already, let's say this, it's already 7-4. There's no way we can come back. So like, think about it at a football game, a basketball game, a baseball game. Your team is down. A lot of people are like, oh, there's no way they're going to come back. I'm not going to sit through this and have to sit through the traffic. So I'm going to go ahead and leave. And they leave. And the next thing you know, their team rallies and they come back and win. And these people are like, oh crap, I left. I didn't get to see the great thing that happened, that my team come back and win. And it's not exactly the best metaphor here, but I feel like there's a lot of people out there that are like, oh man, they're already saying Harris is going to win. There's no point in going out to vote. Or vice versa. Oh, Trump's got a really big base. There's a lot of, people voting for him. There's no point in going out and voting for Kamala. Or Kamala, however the crap you're supposed to say her name. So they're like, I'm not going to go vote. And I feel like that is what's going to cause the biggest issue on November 5th. Either the people who decide to sit at home and not do anything, whether it's for Republicans or for Democrats. Personally, obviously, I prefer you stay at home if you're a Democrat. Don't go vote. Keep your vote to yourself. Let the Republicans go out and go out in force and, make it too big to rig, red wave, all that fun stuff. But that's not the point. It's crazy to me how no matter what happens tomorrow at the polls, I don't feel like we're going to get an honest response at the end of the day. I worry about what November 5th night, November 6th morning and day are going to look like. I very much worry what things are going to look like between now and January, because we have to remember that the person running for president of the United States is also the vice president who has to certify the election when Donald Trump wins. But they are doing everything they can to put it in your mind and my mind that if Kamala Harris wins, that it was real. Okay? That's what I'm trying to explain. And I know I'm doing a very bad job of this one today, but that's what I'm trying to explain. When I am looking and I am seeing that it is predominantly red everywhere I go, everywhere I look, the people that are supporting Donald Trump versus the ones who are supporting Kamala Harris, it looks like it's predominantly red. But when you look at the polls, you look at what they're showing you on TV, on the news and everything else, it makes it look like Kamala Harris is right there, right up there with Trump. That way, when they decide to announce her as the winner, a lot of people won't question it because it's being pushed on them and shoved in their face already that she has a lead, or that she's so close to Donald Trump that when they go, oh, and the winner is, you go, well, I mean, look how close they were in the polls. But were they really? And that's been my question. Are they really that close in the polls? They're saying right now that the 2024 projected electoral map is the closest since at least 1972, with the leader, Kamala Harris, getting 270 electoral votes. And I don't believe it. You know that gut feeling that you're supposed to pay attention to, and you have this gut feeling that tells you something is wrong. You should listen to it. You should pay attention to it. You should do whatever you can to avoid whatever negative feeling you're getting because of that gut energy, right? And for me right now, my gut is telling me that tomorrow is going to be, there's certain words I can't use on YouTube because they will completely take this away, but tomorrow is going to be altered in a way to give the results that the ones pulling the strings want. That's how I feel about it. I don't want to feel that way, but that's exactly how I feel about it. And I hope I'm wrong, but hope doesn't really get you anywhere. I mean, you got to have a little bit of hope, right? But I don't know how, as a single individual person, like a solo person here, to change the outcome except for to make my voice heard, to have these conversations with y'all, to have these conversations with random people that I meet. But oh, hey, who are you voting for? You know, that conversation you're not supposed to have. You're not supposed to talk about politics, religion, and money. And I'm like, hey, you want to talk about politics, religion, and money? Let's talk about how they all go hand in hand, because every single one of them feeds into another one, some way, shape, or form. They are all what make the beast run, like the world, right? Politics, money sways politics, politics sway money, religion sways politics, politics sway religion for a lot of people, and money sways religion, and religion sways money. It all works together, and religion and politics, all of it goes hand in hand, whether we want it to or not. But the best way I can say to do my part and do your part is to have the hard conversations and to not be afraid to be honest about what you think and how you feel when it comes to any of the three: politics, religion, and money. Like, be honest about it, because if you're not, then what's the point, number one, in having the conversation if you're going to lie to people and lie to yourself about how you feel and how you think? But how does that make anything better at the same time? So when there's that ad out by the Kamala Harris campaign with Julia Roberts voicing it, saying to women, hey, when you go in there and vote, you don't have to tell your husband who you're voting for. Vote for the girls, girl power, right? Whatever. Vote for reproductive rights. And there's women out there going, okay, well, I just won't tell my husband that I've been persuaded by a famous voice to go vote for somebody who's claiming to care about reproductive rights, but really it's all about abortion, which isn't reproduction. So it's very confusing, but whatever. I don't know where I was going with that, but it's just a really crazy time right now. And I am hopeful. Like I said, there's a little bit of hope there. I am hopeful that this election will go the way that it should, to the obvious winner, if you've been paying attention, which is Donald Trump. It is not Kamala Harris. And that there will be a peaceful certification of power and exchange of power. Excuse me, I gave myself hiccups. And that the next 4 years we'll see the economic growth that we all need, want, and deserve. And we'll see a closing of our borders, and we'll see a change back to, and yes, I'd like to go backwards, back to affordable living, affordable groceries, safety in our neighborhoods, safety in our schools, mental safety in our schools, everything. Listen, I know this is the most random, crazy video ever, but it's just a small conversation that I want to have, because again, there are too many people out there yelling at each other, and being angry at each other for having opposing views. Listen, if you don't feel like I feel and don't think like I feel, that's fine. You are more than welcome to have your own thoughts and opinions, but your thoughts and opinions will not sway how I feel and how I think. So it's interesting watching how many people have lost friends, have lost family, have lost work connections, all kinds of stuff over the last few months because of this political divide. And there's people out there who are like, I can't believe that you would stop speaking to somebody because they're voting one way or another. And it used to be that I would say the same thing, be like, oh, I can't believe you're gonna let politics determine who you're friends with or who you surround yourself with. But at the end of the day, that should determine who you're friends with and who you surround yourself with. If somebody has core, fundamentally, completely different ideas and thoughts and a moral compass than you do, why would you surround yourself with them? If I believe that pushing for young kids to have some sort of mental disorder, to think that they are in the wrong body, and that parents should, jump on board with it and push that mental disorder, and then, push for that physical alteration of their bodies and these drugs pumped into their systems and whatever else. If I'm 1000% against that, because it is child abuse at the very end of the day and the beginning of the day and all the way through the damn day, it is full on child abuse. Why would I want to be friends with somebody who believes that that is perfectly okay? So when people say, well, I can't be friends with somebody who's voting for Kamala Harris, I understand completely. And if people say, well, I can't be friends with somebody who's voting for Donald Trump because he has 34 felonies, although he hasn't been convicted, 34 felonies, okay, cool, then I guess we're not friends. Just like in a marriage, love is not enough. That's what they say. Love, love isn't everything. You have to have everything else that goes along with it. It's the same thing in regular relationships, friendships, and family ships, and whatever else. It takes more than just, well, I like the person. You have to have some sort of common ground in order for that to work, in order for it to sustain itself, right? And if the common ground is shattered because of difference in moral beliefs, then it is what it is, unfortunately, right? I see a lot of relationships ending over this fight between good and evil, right and wrong, right? Republicans, Democrats, right, wrong. I see a lot of people no longer speaking to each other because of this via social media, whether it's on Facebook, Instagram, X, TikTok, whatever else. But at the end of the day, it's okay. It's perfectly okay. There's some weird phrase, I can never remember it, like people come into your life for a reason, a season, or whatever else. Like if this is the end of your reason or the end of your season, it is what it is. Make new friends. Surround yourself with people who feel like you and think like you, that aren't afraid to have open discussions about things. But if you don't agree on the core, like the basic core values of life, it's hard to sustain those relationships. Anyway, that's gone totally off course of everything, but that's really it. It's just a random talk I want to have with you guys, and I appreciate you letting me always have these conversations with you. Hopefully it makes sense to y'all. If you agree with it, cool. If not, also cool. You do you, boo, and I'm gonna do me. That's how it works over here on Squirrel Tribe. So I will see you guys again a little bit later for more information. But I guess the parting thing here is, with this election, don't let it destroy friendships and relationships if it doesn't have to. But if it needs to end communications, then let it, and don't feel bad about it. Yeah, I guess that's where I'm at with that. So that's all, Squirrel Tribe. I love y'all immensely. I'll see you later. Goodbye.